Coming up on Carolina Week, the arts might be everywhere on campus, but some students at UNC are saying that isn't enough.
I just wasn't willing to stand around and for the whole time. I wanted to do something.
A software engineer in the Triangle using algorithms to try and end gerrymandering.
Taking a knee and popping the question, how students are topping off their time in college with some bling.
All that and so much more Carolina Week
starts right now.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
The Arts Initiative is in full swing on campus, but some students are saying it's not good enough. Good afternoon, I'm Emily Wakeman.
And I'm Peyton Walker. UNC students are demanding more funding for the arts department. Some students and faculty members say the Arts Everywhere exhibits on campus are actually a cover for the fact the university does not prioritize the arts.
Reporter Hampton Crumpler joins us live from the quad with the latest on this story. Hampton?
Emily, as you can see right here, these spinning chairs was actually a part of the university's initiative to feature art across all campus. But despite their efforts, some students still feel like the arts department is overlooked. Monday, about 50 students and staff marched from Haynes Art Building to South Building, chanting things like "Revolt Against Folt." Some of the complaints included a broken roof in Haynes Art Center, which leaks on students whenever it rains. They also demanded that the arts on campus receive more funding. They claim lack of funding is causing professors to leave the department. Dean of Arts and Sciences Kevin Gutskowitz assured students that the roof is being repaired and that UNC is committed to arts here on campus. He also said that the university is willing to talk with students so long as they're more specific in their demands. Emily?
Reporter Hampton Crumpler reporting live. Thanks so much, Hampton.
Carolina's global photography competition this year brought a snapshot of the Syrian conflict to UNC. Grad student Hiba Hazabi, a photo of a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan, caught the eyes of the Carolina community. She took it in 2014 while volunteering in the camp. Hazabi won first place in the 2018 annual Carolina Global Photography Competition. She says she hopes the photo will help connect students to the news and conflict in Syria.
I think really helps bring to focus that we're forgetting about the children who have been so affected by this war. And we kind of tend to forget that in the politics and the war that's going on, that at the end of the day you have this entire lost generation of Syrian kids and no one's looking out for them.
Azabi said some of the refugees in that specific camp grew up in the same neighborhood her family used to live in. She said many of the families in the camp had been there for more than 4 years. 3 federal judges have overruled the Trump administration's efforts to end Daca. The ruling not only says Daca must continue, it will also accept new applications. The ruling will take effect after a 90-day delay to allow the Trump administration to justify ending the immigration program.
Early voting polls are open. Carolina Week's Morgan Knoll recently updated us about North Carolinians about voting districts. She joins us now live more on the issue of gerrymandering in our state.
Exactly, Emily. In our previous report, we focused on districts like this one, the 12th district in North Carolina, known for its odd shape. Now take a look at this picture. It looks a lot different than our current congressional map, and the man who created it used another state to draw up his districts.
Warren Robinett is a software engineer. His game Adventure was the first action-adventure game ever. But now he says he's finished working on one of the most important projects of his career.
I came up with an algorithm, what I thought would be a good and fair algorithm for drawing the voting district lines.
Robinett says the issues became important to him after Trump got elected, and his opinions on gerrymandering are strong.
If you allow them to have the power to draw the lines, they can cheat and keep themselves in power, and it's dangerous because the whole idea of American democracy is you vote and you can throw out the bad guys. But gerrymandering is getting us into a situation where you can't throw out the bad guys.
So, Robinett took matters into his own hands, creating a 6-page document detailing the problem and his solution.
I just wasn't willing to stand around and for the whole time. I wanted to do something.
A year and a half later, Robinett created the Utah algorithm. The algorithm breaks up the districts of North Carolina into squares, like the state of Utah.
At the point that I had an algorithm that I thought was done and worked for all 50 states. The gerrymandering case in the federal courts, one of them was being heard by 3 judges.
He reached out to federal judges to tell them about his algorithm. However,
I sent a letter to those 3 judges wanting to tell them about my algorithm, but I didn't get any response at all.
The pushback hasn't stopped Robinette. He wants to file an amicus brief with the district court to hear his ideas. Until then, he says he might finish the gerrymandering game he's been working on. Emily?
Reporter Morgan Newell live in the studio. Thanks, Morgan.
The town of Chapel Hill saw a 6% jump in recent last year, making it one of the most expensive rental markets in the state. More than 50% of UNC's undergraduate students live off campus. The university is built to house 49.5% of its students, but as the student population grows, more students will be forced to look off campus for housing, and all the demand is pushing housing prices up. The town, along with the university, are now working together to balance affordable housing for students with increased family housing to keep the downtown economy thriving. One of those apartments that has seen an increase in price is Warehouse on Rosemary Street. Residents say there are definitely some benefits to higher rent, but it's a little harder to stomach when the complex started renovating the apartments. Reporter Samantha Schneider sat down with one of these residents who was upset by the whole experience.
If you're a student at Chapel Hill, you may be familiar with Warehouse Apartments. This is an apartment complex on Rosemary Street, and it's home to over 200 students. One of those students is Katie Turner.
If I had to do it over, I probably would not have chosen to live here junior year.
She says the apartment has a lot of problems, but the renovations were one of the worst.
I walked in after work, and unbeknownst to me, there was this whole construction crew, and all of our dishes, all of our silverware, everything was just piled up on our table.
Renovations included a new bathroom, granite counters, new cabinets, and a $25 rent surplus. Some residents, like Sydney Gilder, are still waiting to have their rooms remodeled.
I've heard horror stories about how it was supposed to only last a few days, but it lasted like 6 weeks.
Gilder says she's a little nervous about the renovations, but it's out of her control. According to Section 14E of the Warehouse Housing Contract, to you for any inconvenience, discomfort, disruptions, or interferences with use to the premise when we are making repairs, alterations, or improvements. Still, I reached out to the warehouse management team for an interview. They sent me an email addressing students' complaints. They wrote, "We understand that the renovation process can be disruptive. Our goal is to complete the process as quickly as possible." But Turner says that's not what happened to her.
3 full work days is the time frame we were given initially, and it ended up being about like 6 weeks.
Turner may be upset with her experience, but the construction rolls on. In Chapel Hill, I'm Samantha Schneider, Carolina Week.
Some residents tell us their rates for next year have already increased.
Carolina Week has told you about the new fee for business students. Now there's new information about how that money will be used. The business school will charge enrolled students a $2,000 fee starting in 2019. The fee will help expand the number of students that are admitted into the program. Other improvements include bolstering student career services, global initiatives, and financial aid. Director of the undergraduate business program, Anna Miller, says that so far there hasn't been a lot of pushback.
We are the only top 25 undergraduate public business school that does not charge tuition differential. The fee will allow us, in combination with our continued development efforts with our alumni, to grow the business school undergraduate business program by 50%.
Some opponents of the fee say they worry it will discourage diversity in the business program.
About 6,000 students will gather in Keaton Stadium on May 13th for graduation, but they can't turn their tassels until the commencement speaker says so. This year's commencement speaker is Rai Barkat. Barkat graduated from UNC in 2001 with a bachelor's in peace, war, and defense and international studies on an ROTC scholarship. After graduating, has served in the United States Marine Corps and volunteered for Carolina for Kibera, an organization on that he co-founded in his senior year at UNC. Chancellor Folt says they chose Barkat for his authenticity and humor. Commencement will start at 9 a.m.
It's the new social media fad, and it's called Dragon's Breath.
Carolina Week reporter Keegan Matheson looked into the trend that's raising eyebrows over safety concerns.
If you stop by the South Point Mall's food court, you will see a new dessert stand.
But this stand isn't peddling your typical ice cream. It is selling sugary snacks called Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath is a snack that is created by putting these colorful balls into a pot and stirring liquid nitrogen gas to infuse the dessert. The results are breathtaking.
So I was told to chew as fast as I could and blow before I ate. So let's see how this goes.
Customers say they are willing to spend the $7 for the novelty of breathing like a dragon.
It kind of tastes cold, but it tastes like cereal.
But with the snack requiring liquid nitrogen in the making process, UNC chemist Todd Estelle says there are some concerns about the snack.
If it sits for any length of time on your tissue, it can burn it.
Liquid nitrogen is almost 400 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. He said the key is making sure to breathe out.
Or at least a super cold liquid, when it comes in contact with a significantly warmer surface, it forms a little layer of protective vapor, and that's actually how you keep it from burning you when you're breathing out.
So if you're ready to try a treat in the cold of the moment, remember to keep calm and breathe out. In Durham, Keegan Matheson, Carolina Week.
Customers are told to take precautions when eating Dragon's Breath. You're supposed to eat it just like you would eat very hot, slowly and carefully.
Coming up on Carolina Week, the island's most iconic landmark was relocated in 1999 because of rising sea levels.
And now the Cape's residents might have to do the same. Carolina Week's in-depth look, that's next. What I'm saying.
And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
North Carolina's coastal population almost hits 1 million. That's about 10% of the state's population that might be at risk when it comes to rising sea levels. Reporter Hannah Lee joins me to discuss how this issue is playing out in one of the state's most iconic oceanfront communities.
Thanks
Hannah.
Emily. I talked to locals in Cape Hatteras last week, and there aren't many things in life that they love more than their tight-knit community. Now, some say they love it so much that they won't move for anything, even warnings from local scientists about how climate change could affect their homes.
That's what the motel looked like when we bought it.
Most of the 4,300 residents who call Cape Hatteras home have lived there for their entire lives. Climate scientists say North Carolina's coast could face 39 inches of sea level rise in the next 80 years, and it might soon affect the only place they've grown to know and love. But they plan to stay.
I've heard some coastal scientists, some are much more radical than others, say, oh, you should just move everything west. Okay, write me a check.
One of those scientists is Dr. Oren Pilcher. He's developed a notorious reputation among the locals, and he knows it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my, yeah. And who's this 30-year-old kid? Now, I'm not 30, but I was 30, and who's this 30-year-old guy telling me, I mean, I've been living here all my life. I know what I'm doing. We all have that attitude, I suppose, when we're in our territory, but these people have got to recognize things have changed.
Pilkey is involved in the island's political drama.
He was also on the science panel that was deciding what to do about the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. So, gee, I wonder why it got moved.
Residents and academics continue to drift apart as a debate about rising sea levels intensifies. Personally and politically, the island and people are getting pulled apart, but physically, they've always been together.
You know, being a fisherman, I don't know. The name on my boat is the Seaman, if you didn't notice when you climbed aboard it, and that pretty much says it all. It's not just that I'm going to sea, but I couldn't leave it.
Odin's family has lived here for 2 centuries, so they've seen their natural disasters.
Let's face it, when hasn't the climate changed? I'm a believer in climate change, but I'm not in global warming, so.
But only 2 months ago, water was flooding the streets as a result of Winter Storm Riley.
I'm sorry, but you're so wrong. You are going to move. You are going to move. Even if you do elevate your house so the storms wash under the house, you're not going to be able to go to church or to movies, to doctors. Ambulances can't come. Go on and on and on about what happens when the road is flooded.
Dawson isn't worried, though.
The island's been here for tens of thousands of years. So I don't think in the next 100 years somebody's going to take a magic eraser and wipe it out. No, I don't see that.
It was pretty clear people from Dawson's generation feel like they've built their livelihood on this island, and they don't want to leave. I think as long as there's a shore to walk on, these Cape Hatteran's will stay.
Reporter Hannah Lee, thanks so much for your work.
We've had some wet weather this week, but will the skies clear up? Our full forecast is coming up next.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Hey, thanks for staying with us today. Welcome back. I'm your meteorologist, Alex Comment, with your Carolina Week weather. Taking a look at the skies earlier today, we do have partly cloudy skies as well now. The clouds have moved back in quite a bit as compared to about an hour ago when this picture was taken. So it's a little darker outside right now, but still overall a nice day. We do have the chance for a few passing showers, especially since the sun came out and gave us a little bit of warming, allowing for some storms to maybe pop up. You may see a few thunderstorms pass as we go throughout the day. So if it rains again on you, don't be surprised. But our headlines for today: a soggy start to the week, but we're finally clearing out. Consistent 70s for the next week, so it's definitely something to be excited about. I know that a lot of the universities around the area, it's their last week of classes, so if you have a chance to get outside and decompress while you're studying, definitely do that and enjoy it. And then Hello Sunshine brought to you by tomorrow. After we get through tomorrow, it's straight sunshine for the next at least 5 days. And I'll get to that in just a minute. So taking a look at our radar loop, this is a satellite loop, not radar. You can see that there's some high clouds across the state that are clearing out as we go throughout the day. And these are intermittent as we go through. But back to our west here, you can see there's a system that's moving in, and this is going to bring us a few clouds as we go through tomorrow as well. But we will clear out after that gets by. The center of that system will move to our south and could bring us the chance of a shower or two, but nothing serious as far as it looks at right now. Also, taking a look at the rainfall average, this is the deviation from what we normally get this time of year. And you can see that most of the state is actually doing pretty well. The greens and blues are in a surplus, so above average, and then these brown areas here are below average for the last 30 days, but you can tell they're not very much below average, just a half to a whole inch. So overall, the state's doing pretty good on rainfall, and these past few days have definitely helped keep those totals where they need to be. Today, 70 degrees, partly cloudy, winds northwest 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, the winds are going to calm as we drop into the low 50s. Mostly clear skies. The skies will clear out tomorrow, so you should see the sun when you get up in the morning. Winds light and variable for that. The surface map tomorrow. Here's that center of low pressure that I was talking about. It's going to pass to our south and could bring us a few clouds, possibly a few showers, but high pressure is going to move in behind that, and that's what's going to clear us up for the next week and bring us straight sunshine for Friday through the weekend and into the next week as well. For your breakdown tomorrow, 8 a.m., 56 degrees. We have sun to start your day. By noon, we're up near 70 degrees, and by 3, we're nearing our high in the mid-70s. We'll be around 73 degrees by then. I threw in this mostly cloudy icon just because there is the potential for that to happen. So taking a look at our temperatures, here is today. You can see we made it into the 70s, these warm orange colors here. Tomorrow will be much of the same. And then repeat that for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday we cool down just a little bit, but we're still in the 70s, so it's looking great. So, as I said, you know, if you're wrapping up your school semester, get out there and enjoy that. Soak up some sunshine. It'll be great for you. And then for your 5-day forecast, you can see that after tomorrow, the sun comes out in full force. We're in the 70s for our highs across the week. Sunday, I had 69 on there, but I wouldn't doubt if we got into the 70s for that day as well. And then our lows are looking pretty nice too, so you should be able to turn your heater off and give that a rest, and you may be able to get by without using the air conditioner either. Thanks so much, and back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Alex, for that report. A commission studying pay-for-play allegations in college basketball has released its highly anticipated report.
All the details coming up in sports.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Moses Masilu. An FBI investigation continues to rock the college hoops world, and officials and critics are suggesting major changes. The commission studying the problem, headed by former Secretary, released its initial report this morning. Paul Beam has more.
Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, LeBron James. All are great basketball players and went straight from high school to the NBA. Players can't do that anymore because of the NBA raising the age requirement to enter the draft to 19 in 2006. After an FBI investigation into the business of college basketball, the infamous one-and-done rule might change.
We must separate the college track from the professional track by ending one and done.
That's Condoleezza Rice, the chair of the Commission on College Basketball, formed 6 months ago after the FBI released its initial report. The commission identified the one-and-done rule as the main issue behind the corruption of college basketball. Only the NBA has to change the rule.
We call on the NBA and the NBPA, who exclusively have power here, to once again make 18-year-olds eligible.
According to NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski, the NBA is already talking about changing the rule soon.
I've been told that the talks have been centered around the year 2020 is the earliest that could happen.
If players are allowed to go straight to the NBA out of high school, this will have a tremendous impact on recruiting in college basketball. Top-flight high school players will likely make the jump to the pros, meaning schools like Kentucky and Duke stocking up on five-star prospects will be a thing of the past. In Chapel Hill, I'm Paul Beam, Carolina Week.
Since 2006, more than 100 players have made the brief stop at the college level before heading on to the league. Critics like Jay Billis say many such players were never really student athletes at all. The surging Diamond Heels are in action starting in less than an hour. 10th-ranked Carolina is hosting Western Carolina in a midweek in-state showdown. After a rough start to the season, the Heels have won 13 of their past 16 games and taken 4 straight ACC series, including a home sweep of Georgia Tech this past weekend. The hot streak has been led by the offense. In the past 5 victories, the Heels have cranked out almost 10 runs per game. And the pitching has performed well without ace Gianluca Delatri. Collectively, the team has a 3.62 ERA. That combo has the Heels rolling into a critical weekend series at number 3, NC State.
I think it's a perfect weekend for a baseball game.
I know, great weather, perfect for revenge too against NC State. I know last showdown wasn't the best.
Hopefully. I know they are on a hot streak right now, so hopefully they will get that revenge.
All right, well that's Moses Basile in studio. Thanks so much, Moses. No problem. Up next on Carolina Week, a ring before spring.
These students are turning their tassels and tying the knot.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
All right, let's face it. During senior year, students have a lot to figure out.
Jobs, relocating, and finding lifelong love. Our reporter Jessica Allen looked why some students are choosing to put a ring on it.
When you scroll through your social media feeds, it might seem like more and more seniors are getting engaged. Senior Jarrett Corder and his girlfriend Ashley recently got engaged at the Biltmore in Nashville.
I knew we were going to get engaged and we were going to get married. My plan was to do it after I graduated, but I just couldn't wait.
Addison Holzenbach is also a senior who got engaged in 2016.
And I got to the end, and he was in a heart of candles and said some words that I don't remember because I was crying.
While it may feel like many of your senior friends are getting engaged, UNC professor Tim Marr says that young marriage is actually becoming a less common trend.
It's relationships that don't fit that standard patriarchal norm are very difficult to work out psychologically between couples. Fewer and fewer people are getting married and getting married later.
Marr says that the undergraduate experience prepares these engaged couples to cohabitate and share a life with another person by having roommates.
I think what's happening more often is people are remaining single and alone and developing their sociality virtually and through informal, less long-term commitments.
Holzenbach says that since the beginning of her relationship, marriage has always been in the cards.
We just are really ready to get married because we've been together for 5 years at this point. I don't know, we just are ready to get there and it officially be for the rest of our lives. We're ready to make that commitment to each other.
Corder says long-term relationships are one of the reasons why he thinks people get engaged in college.
I think it's just getting ready to take that next step in life. Odds are they've probably been dating for a while and they're kind of seeing their future start to be written with jobs and with everything. So it's just this is kind of the next big step in relationship life.
Closing one chapter and beginning another. In Chapel Hill, Jessica Allen, Carolina Week.
That's so cute. Hey, and I can't believe that people our age are getting engaged.
I know, definitely true. I wish I could relate to that, but unfortunately.
But hey, we still have a year to find Mr. Right.
Still have a year taking applications. That's going to do it for this edition of Sports Extra, Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching.